Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
So it's just me and Leslie today.
We'll do our best.
We will do
We'll do
our
our
best.
best.
Absolutely. I don't know why I get this. Can you hear it?
Hear what? I hear
Can you?
you.
You just hear me? It's no echo?
No, mm-mm.
Okay.
I just hear you.
All right. I'll try to move past it. All right. So, I'm Sarita. You can follow me at Vine Me Up on all social media. You can also follow the Swirl Suite on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also follow our previous episodes on wherever you find your podcasts: iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. Leslie, how are you?
I am wonderful.
You know,
Wonderful.
it's hot here. It's the 90s. You know, keeping the edges right and all that. It's hard. It's hard now. It's hard.
It is one of my girlfriends. She has a 14-year-old daughter, and she is traveling by herself. And she was trying to teach her daughter, like, okay, this is what you bring, this is what you don't bring. And her daughter, like, after the whole discussion, her daughter puts in like a 12-ounce bottle of Jack.
It's gone.
And that's why I was like, the struggle is real for a Black. By hook or crook, these edges are going to be straight.
I know. I'm telling you, child. Not to mention the sweat pockets that you build as a woman, child.
Let me tell you, I got a couple of years on you, Sarita. Getting old in Washington, D.C. is not for the faint of heart. If you ain't used to sweating in places you hadn't sweat before, don't move to Washington, D.C. I'm just telling you now. In your 20s, you know you could sweat in some of these places. And it ain't right and it ain't pretty.
Yes, because it just gets downright ugly, and I am uncomfortable in heat and humidity. So,
I know.
right.
It's just not,
it's like you don't know what to wear to work. It's just a mess.
Yeah, and then like you leave the house and you think your hair is all like
goodbye.
And then you walk into work, you go into the bathroom, and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm bringing back J5.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? But I am happy to say that today I took the Metro, and I never thought that I would be excited about taking the damn Metro because, you know, they're doing Safe Track.
Right.
And for those who are not familiar with Washington, D.C., the Metro system is not that old, like 40 some years old, and they have not maintained it the way they should have. So they closed down all the stations in Blackville.
Yeah. Sure. You know that includes me too. So we've been,
Yes. Oh, Lord Jesus. And so there are alternate ways I had to get into the city, which was not pretty. Yeah. And today was the first day that they opened up Metro in Blackville, and I never thought I was be so happy for the Metro.
And the funny thing is, I telework today. But I had to go into the city because I took. It was my first time doing cupping and acupuncture.
So do you have the whole? Okay, we have to hear about this.
Yes. So it was actually very relaxing. It was very, very relaxing. So I went to this place where they did 30 minutes of cupping and then 30 minutes of acupuncture after. And even when Alan came home, he was like, "You even sound different." I was like, "I know. I must talk softly like this because this is how I feel." No lie.
So did you you know? Okay, so I've only seen it on non-African American women.
Okay.
And they have the little hickeys.
Yes.
On them. Yes. So do you have that?
I think I have them a little bit, but they go away in a couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That is that. Now I have done acupuncture before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I am a fan of.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. I am definitely convinced, and I'll definitely go back. And the great thing about the place that I went to, it's in DuPont Circle, and you pay based on what you can afford. So it's like a pay scale, girl. And they were people were rolling in there. People were, and it's small, but they definitely had the place booked at where people were in and out, getting what they needed, and sort of, bouncing in and out. It was great. It was great. It was great. It was great.
We need to share that name.
Absolutely.
So I can start talking like this.
Exactly. Oh, and happy Juneteenth, by the way.
Oh, happy Juneteenth to you too.
Yes. Do you have like any traditions or anything that you do to celebrate this day?
Okay, are you gonna take my black card away from me?
No, because I don't. I feel like I need to do. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, we'll work on that. On that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like I can hold on to my black card just a little while longer.
Girl, you are crazy. Oh, did I keep saying because I keep remembering stuff. So I just wanted to give a quick follow up to the restaurant that I went to, Oz. So
I saw the pictures.
Yes.
Yes. How was it?
It was actually really nice. We had a really good time. Very different from the last experience that I told you guys about.
Yeah.
But so Oz has a weekend happy hour. That was the reason why we circled back and went. And the thing is, me and Alan both watch Real Housewives of Potomac. And we're so curious. We were so curious.
Right.
So I was like, okay, all right. Looks like our guests are here. Hey, Becca.
Hi, Rebecca.
Oh, Savon's still coming in. So, okay. So, I went to Oz, and like I said, it was the weekend happy hour. Their menu was really nice, and their cocktails are fantastic. I met Ashley. I introduced myself, and she sent me over a drink or two, and it was a really nice experience. And like I said, their happy hour is 7 days a week, and I would definitely go back. So, and the food was really good. Yeah.
Did you have the kangaroo burger?
I did not eat kangaroo, and I did not eat camel. Couldn't do it.
Okay.
Couldn't do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So our guests are here. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Hey. So we have two wine bloggers here today. Please introduce yourself. Becca, let's go first.
My name is Rebecca Gomez-Farrell, and I am a food, drink, and travel blogger at thegourmez.com, the Gourmez being a witty pun on Gomez, one of my last names. And I'm also a fiction writer. And that is me. Oh, I'm based in Oakland, California.
Oh, okay. Nice. Where can everybody follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest at the Gourmez. Is my username everywhere. So
very nice. Leslie, did you have a question?
Oh, I don't know if we're going to get to this later, but I heard a rumor a couple of minutes ago that you just published a book. Would you like to share the name of your book?
Sure. It's not quite published yet. It gets published on August 22nd. It's right here. The book is called Wings Unseen, and it is young adult epic fantasy. So for the genre science fiction fantasy fans, I think it's a good read. Pick it up. But yeah, no, you can pre-order it. You can pre-order it on Amazon now, and I think on Barnes and Noble now too. So it's available. It just doesn't come out until the end of August. So
nice.
Very cool.
Tavon, introduce yourself, please.
My name is Tavon Johnson. I'm a wine blogger. My website is vonvino.com. I'm based out of Washington, D.C. You can follow me on Facebook at Von Vino. My Instagram is Von_Vino, and my Twitter is Tavon_Vino. That's about all the social media I can handle.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure Twitter out. So.
But that's enough social media. I understand.
It's a lot. It is a lot. It's a lot. So my first question to both of you is, how did you get into wine, and how did you end up starting your blog?
I can go first. Sure. I started my blog back in 2007 when I was just trying to start writing regularly again. And I decided, hey, what's this thing called discretionary income? And I can actually go out to a restaurant and actually buy a bottle of wine or a bottle of alcohol. So I started doing the writing just to write regularly because I've always wanted to be a writer. That's always been my passion. But I also have a horrible memory. So I wanted to have a record of the places I was going, the things I was drinking, etc. Because I would never remember what I liked and didn't like. So it's been good on all accounts.
Gotcha. So you started to like write about wine and then drinks, because I looked at your website. You write about a lot of areas.
I do. What do I call it? I have strong leisure time opinions is one of the slogans I have.
Leisure time opinions. I'll have to.
Yeah, I've had more recently. I've had more of a wine focus, and that's really because the first like professional blogger convention I went to was the Wine Bloggers Conference about 4 years ago now, and that happened to be right about the time I was moving from North Carolina to the Bay Area. And so it ended up being the group of bloggers that I knew in the Bay Area were all wine related because I'd met them at that conference. So most of my connections have been more wine related and thus more wine writing, which isn't to say I don't love wine. I do, but I do kind of miss my restaurant reviews, and my spirit reviews have been a little less than they used to be.
Gotcha. Tavon, what about you? I don't think I know this story about you. How did you get into wine and starting your blog and stuff?
I usually tell people I got into wine by drinking it. But
easy enough.
There's a little more to the story than that. I mean, I had, back home in Georgia, I had a neighbor that I used to kick it with, and she was a big wine drinker. I was always into beer. And just about every weekend, we would hang out on the stoop. I have my beer, she'd have her wine. And she was like, just try it. She's the one who really put me on the wine. And I ended up liking it. I didn't immediately switch to wine from beer after that. But I just eventually got tired of beer. I would come home after work, grab one out of the fridge, and sit on the couch like Al Bundy. But I just wanted something different. And so when I switched to wine, I started out with boxed wine, and I graduated to the bottles. I was buying from the grocery store, and then I just wanted to learn more. Eventually, I started researching things like how to, what would pair well with what I was having for dinner. I would look online, and whatever I was planning on having for dinner, I would go out and buy wine that would go with that. And then from there, I wanted to learn more, so I decided to start blogging and just research what I wanted to know about wine and write about it. I think there's a quote. They say, if you want to learn, read. If you want to know, write. If you want to master, teach. So I'm in the writing phase now. Hopefully, I'll have the pleasure of teaching one day.
Nice.
Did you start blogging when you were in Georgia? First of all, I had, I met Tavon just a couple of times, and I didn't know that you were from Georgia.
Yeah, Augusta, Georgia. Home of James Brown.
Get out of here. So did you start blogging there or when you moved to this area?
No, I actually didn't start. I've only been blogging about a year and a half. I didn't start until I got to D.C.
Okay.
And how long have you lived in D.C.?
It's been about 3.5 years, almost 4 years.
Okay, not that long then. Oh, okay, cool.
And then I also started working at a wine shop. I know, Sarita, first time I met you, you came up Snyder's.
Yeah.
So I started working there just to, bump shoulders with people in the industry and pick their brains and learn from them.
Right. And what made you start your Facebook group? Because you have a Facebook group for Blacks who drink wine. What made you start that?
I'm a member of a lot of different wine groups on Facebook, and some of them have 5, 10,000, 20,000 members. And one thing I noticed going through the members, for like maybe every 100 to 200 members, I might see like one Black face. It seemed like people were just scattered. So I decided to start a group to bring everybody together and get them in one place.
Very nice. And yeah, I love the group. Very impressive.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So my next question, What was the last winery everybody visited? Leslie, you can jump in there too.
I can go. I can go. So, this weekend I was at a Maryland winery, which is so surprising. But the newest winery that I have been to, I think I talked about this. I'm not sure if I talked about this last time, but the newest one that I have gone to is Chateau Boudet, which I kind of chuckle when I first say it because, like, I'm still a 12-year-old kid. But it's in Chesapeake City, Maryland, and it's right on the Boheme River. So it is a historical plantation, and it's just gorgeous. So if you're familiar with Maryland's Eastern Shore, I would encourage you to go out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's going next? Becca?
Sure. Okay. Talking about my bad memory, I just had to look at my pictures from a media trip that I just had like just 2 weekends ago in Lodi, and I already couldn't remember what the last place was that we went. But it was, I can remember being there because it was absolutely gorgeous, this place. It's Viaggio Wines, which is a little bit outside of Lodi, California. And like their estate is insane. And they had they gave us, this 5-course gourmet dinner that was amazing with wine pairings and all that sort of stuff. And then they took us on the estate manor house that they're actually now putting on Airbnb for vacation rentals.
Oh, wow.
It's they have 5 themed bedrooms in the place. They have an infinity pool going out into their backyard. It was insane. So it's a beautiful estate to visit, as well as having pretty good wines, if I recall correctly. So.
How often do you get invited to press trips?
Not very. More like one-day events might come up a little more often, But actual press trips, I think I've only been on 2 or 3 of them.
Oh,
so,
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Zavon, what about you?
What's that?
I said, what about you? What was the last winery you visited?
Oh, the last winery I visited? I haven't been to a winery since I was in California. I just go to local wine bars around D.C. I try to try different places. So I always go to somewhere new, somewhere I haven't been before. But my favorite is Pursuit Wine Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Not only because they have good wine flights, but it's walking distance.
Are you that close? I didn't realize you were that close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I walk down.
Nice. Well, that kind of. Oh, go ahead, Leslie.
No, so I had a question. So we offer wine tours in Maryland, and recently we have been inviting different travel, food, and wine bloggers on our tours to visit. So, what tips, since you've gone on a couple of press tours or what have you, what tips would you give aspiring bloggers when they go on these type of trips?
And you're inviting them to see what it's like to go on your tour, right?
Exactly.
My biggest tip would learn how to hold 5 things in your hands at any time, because a blogger needs to be able to be taking pictures, taking notes, maybe holding a recorder if they prefer that to taking notes. That honestly is the biggest challenge, is just how do you maneuver all of the stuff you need in order to give a good post afterwards to describe the experience. Personally, I like to write from the average consumer's perspective. So whenever I'm writing up something afterward, I try to be like, this is what it'd be like if you went on, or yeah, we got this whole extra neat, we had an extra stop on the tour, which you might not get. So, check your expectations.
Right.
All of that kind of stuff. But honestly, just being able to properly document it so that you can do it justice later on is one of the hardest parts to learn when you start going on trips or getting invited out to dinners and stuff.
Yeah. And you might not want to get drunk. It's easy to do, especially when you're new. And sometimes when you go to bars and stuff, and you're talking to the bartender, and then the owner comes by and like, oh, you a wine blogger? Taste this, taste that, and then yeah, so it's very, very easy to do. But anywho, oh, what is your favorite happy hour in your area?
Ooh, that's a rough one. I feel like my favorite happy hour is probably one of the ones that's just down the hill from me, because we're next to all sorts of great eateries. We're really near Lake Merritt in Oakland. I guess probably so right now I'd probably say the Libertine, which is just a cute cocktail bar. They make really good cocktails, and I mean, if you guys are in the DC area, you know how expensive good cocktails can get too.
Yeah.
And so these are like, you know, really good, nicely made cocktails, and at the happy hour I think they're only $7, which is not bad, because you would be paying, you know, twice that half the time.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. Leslie, what about you?
There is a new wine store that opened up in Greater Bowie, and they actually have a tasting bar at the wine store.
Oh.
Yeah, it's oh, I'm so embarrassed. I can't remember the name of it, but it's right next to the new Harris Teeter, and I like going in there and trying their wines, because they have like wines on tap. So I'm happy that there's something local that I don't have to go downtown for, or that is in Bowie. But that's my newest find. That's my newest place to go.
Nice. Devon, what about you?
I can't say I really have a favorite happy hour. There's so many places. There's so many choices in DC, and I'm constantly looking on Yelp like happy hour or brunch, and trying to see what's out there. So I try to discover new things all the time. So I can't really say I have a favorite one.
Yeah, I feel you.
See, I feel like that's the answer of a true blogger too, because I think that's part of what makes us bloggers is wanting to try everything.
Yes.
Right.
So like, no, I mean, we don't want to go to the same happy hour all the time. We haven't been to that happy hour. We have to check out that one.
Yep. That's why when you guys came on, I was telling Leslie about the last happy hour I went to during this weekend at Oz in Arlington. So I don't know if you guys watch Real Housewives. It's trash, but I don't know. It's really it's so entertaining. It's so entertaining. So one of the girls in this Real Housewives is it's recorded in Maryland. So one of the girls owns a restaurant in Arlington. It's right outside of DC. So anyway, and I missed the opening, and we kept circling back like, we got to get there. I don't know. It looks weird on TV. I don't know. Is it really that bad? So we were so curious that we finally scratched the itch and went this weekend. And the food was good. The food was good. And their happy hour is 7 days a week. So that was awesome. Yeah.
A 7-day-a-week happy hour is worth celebrating too, for sure.
That's rare, right? Right, exactly. Yeah, and it was from 4 to 7, so that's not bad at all.
Yeah. You know what? I hate those late happy hours. I'm like, what's the point? Like they start from like 4 to 6, and then they stop, and then they start like at 9 to 10. Like, what? Why are you doing something like that? I hate that. Just keep it going. Like, keep it going.
It's totally funny when they do it like that. You're right. And then they do it for like 1 hour later on, and then they go back to the regular menu too. And you're like, what are you trying to prove? Like, someone just told you have to have a happy hour, so you're like finding the only time period that nobody's going to come to your restaurant.
I know, right.
Exactly. Okay, so is there something that you guys keep a case of? Is there a particular wine, whether it's a grape or winemaker, that you have to keep a case of?
No. I just don't consider myself a wine collector. I feel I don't collect things in general, and I wouldn't have the amount of space to really hold on to that. And again, it goes back to the, like, why would I want so many bottles of the same wine if I haven't tried that wine yet? If I haven't tried that wine yet, I don't commit. I need to try it all. And it's very rare that I actually will pick up the same bottle that I've had before. Only when I know that I want a for sure thing, if I'm like taking it to someone's house for dinner or something like that.
Gotcha. Leslie, what about you?
I don't do that because I live by myself, and so you know, I shouldn't finish a bottle a night. I should make it last. So I try to actually, my friends, their palate is different than mine.
Oh, okay.
So I try to actually stock up on stuff that I wouldn't drink. So when they come over, you know what I
smart.
mean.
I know, yeah. I do. Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, why don't you try this? Because the stuff that I like, they're like, oh, it's you know. So I might get more of that than what I actually like. Yeah.
That's a sign of a good hostess, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never bought a case of the same wine. Usually when I buy a case, it's an assortment. You know, some wine stores, they'll have like the monthly cases, the mixed cases. And those are good for trying new things that maybe you might not have picked up off the shelf. So.
Yeah. I don't necessarily buy a case of the same wine, but I might have 6 of one wine and 6 of another. It's just something where I'm located. A lot of people like to pass through, like Leslie, you drive past my street when you go to work. I'm just in like a central location where we always have company. So I'm always, I think I always have a case of Cava, or at least like 6 bottles. Because people stop through on their way in or out of DC. So that's something I always have. But other than that, not really. But So Becca, I had a question for you. Like how in the world do you write a book? Like what is your strategy? Do you write like one chapter at a time or a bunch of chapters at a time? Do you write with a pen and pad, or do you type?
So every single writer out there of fiction or blogging or anything is going to tell you something different, right?
Sure.
I definitely don't use a pen and pad. In fact, like the thing I am most nervous about in like planning a book tour is like writing dedications on books, because my handwriting is horrible and I can't read it half the time. So I have to figure out how to do that without ruining people's books. It's going to be a challenge. For me, I write novels and I write short stories, and what'll often come to me first are just like kind of snatches of images. Maybe I dreamed them, maybe it just kind of like gets imagined at some point by me during the day. And I will like see my main characters in sort of those snatches of images or scenes, almost like little scenes that'll play through my head. And then I'll start writing out those scenes. And then as I write, I get more and more figuring out what my plot is, what sort of character journeys I want these people to take. So I'm often figuring out my plot as I'm going through and just writing the like different scenes that I know I want to do. So like I'll even like take a notepad and write down different scenes that I know I need to write. And then one day I might like tear out one sheet and be like, okay, write this scene now. And so the later on process for me is actually making all of that come together, matching up my different little scenes, making sure I have a plot through line that makes sense. And then when I'm doing that, I'm figuring out what else I need to be writing for it. So it's a little more of a hodgepodge patchwork approach than some writers take. Some writers are very structured and actually outline their entire plot beforehand, and for me, I'm writing, and only through writing do I begin to understand my entire plot.
Wow, that's so interesting, huh?
As a blogger, how do you come up with your topics each week? Like, some people say that you should do like a social media calendar and identify it that way. But how do you get your inspiration about what to blog about that week or that day? What do you do?
I mean, currently a fair bit of my blogging, because I've been at it a while, is actually driven by what sample wines people have sent me. So I get to taste review those, what media trips I've been invited to. So I just had that Lodi trip. So I'm going to be figuring out what during those couple of days most inspires me to write a couple blog posts about. Because if you go on a media trip or, you know, the wine bloggers or food blogger conferences, there's so much that's getting thrown at you. Yeah. So you have to figure out what you're passionate about.
Right.
And what you want to share with others. So I feel like that, as I think about it, it's kind of the same way for me, like I'm describing, I have images come in my head, like as I'm thinking about the through line for what articles I'm actually going to write start to rise up as I'm considering what I went through those past couple of days. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing for the Lodi one yet, but I need to figure out what appeals to me most from that trip and then put those together.
And Tavon, what about you? How do you figure out your topics?
For me, it could be different things. Like it might be a wine tasting event that I went to. Like so recently I went to an Italian wine tasting event, and that inspired me to write an article about Italian wines. Or it could just be something I pull out of thin air, like I want to know about this and write about that.
Yeah.
Could be something random, some wine binge that I went on.
Sure.
I will say,
what'd you say?
I'll say when I was starting and had just moved to the Bay Area and I wasn't sure what I wanted to focus on the food scene here, because I had learned food blogging, had started in North Carolina, actually decided to go on a mac and cheese series, and I found a list of like the 10 best mac and cheese dinners in the Bay Area, and I love mac and cheese, so that's what inspired me. I went to every single restaurant on that list and compared the dishes and chose a winner. So
that's awesome.
That is awesome. Sarita, how do you get your inspiration?
It's pretty random nowadays because I've been doing this for a while. You start to see the same wines and the same, especially you go to the same shops and whatever, you start to see the same wines and the same taste on your palate. So whatever's different and jumps out at me, that's what I'll write about. And also the samples. Like I'm drinking a sample for a Twitter chat tomorrow. This is Villa Maria, their rosé from New Zealand, Hawke's Bay. It's different. It's definitely different, but it's one of those rosés that you just drink by yourself. It's very, very acidic, and I don't even know what food can hold up to it. But it's pleasant. It's a hot day, so it's cold and it's good. So I wrote some notes about that, and they actually sent 3 bottles, and so I have to open the other 2 tomorrow for the Twitter chat. So, but stuff like that. So, but whatever's jumping out is different.
I like that you specifically said that what's unique and different is often what you end up writing about. Because that's definitely the case for me too. And I'll often, if I'm doing like a roundup article, I'll call it the most memorable wines from a tasting or from a trip. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're the best ones. There might have been better ones that were there, but the ones that are sticking with me are the ones that are unique and doing something different.
Yeah. Like today, I've actually blogged about this wine, but my husband, he's in his office. He's drinking another rosé, and it's from hopped wine. So they've added hops to the wine. Oh. So it has like I don't know, it has like slight hops on the palate. So it's different, but he loves it. It's weird. It's weird. But I blogged about it because it was definitely different. Definitely different. So I have a little game for you guys. So I have 10 words for each of you. So Becca, I'm going to do you first. So I'm going to give you one word and you say whatever the first thing that comes to your mind when I say this one word. Okay? And I'm going to give you 10 words. So it's going to be fast.
Okay, could be incriminating. We'll find out.
Okay. Crush.
You said crush?
Crush.
Fresh.
Wasted.
Hungover.
Pour. As in pouring wine, not poor people.
Get a job.
Oh my God. Hot.
The Bay Area these last few days. Woo.
Yeah, same here. Hook up.
Only if I'm in a fun mood and I wasn't married anymore.
Corked.
Adventure.
Send me.
I didn't hear that one.
Oh, send me. Like send me something. Send me.
Flowers.
Rosé.
For this sort of weather, absolutely. And the more acidic, the better.
Okay. Pho. Like pho, the soup, noodle soup.
Too hot for today.
Last one. Spit.
Only if I need it for my sanity.
Exactly.
Okay, Tavon, your turn. Okay. Shots.
Tequila.
Fried.
Say what?
Fried.
Chicken.
Slurp.
Popsicle.
Okay. Taste.
Wine.
Pairing.
Wine.
Endless.
What's that?
Endless.
Enlist?
Endless.
Like enlist in the military?
No, endless. Endless. Like forever. Endless.
Unending.
Unending.
Oh, endless.
Yeah, endless.
Infinity.
Okay. Sardines.
Hot sauce.
Pinot.
Noir.
Bubbles.
Champagne.
Swirl.
My wine.
Nice. That was it. That was fun.
Swirl my wine now.
There you go.
Very cool. Thanks for playing, guys.
I don't think I played correctly. I spoke in sentences, not words.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. So, guys, that pretty much wraps up our show. But thank you so much for joining us. Wait, are you guys going to the Wine Bloggers Conference this year?
Yes.
Yeah, Becca, you'll be there.
I will be there. I don't think I'm going to be doing any like pre or post excursions, and I know I'm on a panel at least, so I have to figure out what that panel is at some point.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I will be there for the main days of the conference at least. Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice. So we can just do a roundtable. Just tell everybody again where they can follow you and what you guys have coming up next.
Tavon, go first this time.
I'm sorry, I didn't. What was it?
Oh yeah,
I said you can go first this time.
No, go first. What'd you say?
Oh, okay.
Sarita?
Yeah. Tell everybody again where they can follow you and if you have any events or anything coming up.
You can follow me on Facebook. Facebook page is Von Vino. My Twitter is Tavon. That's TIVON _Vino. And my Instagram is Von_Vino. I don't have any events coming up, but I finished up one of my latest articles today, which is the Italian wine article that I just mentioned. I just got some final edits that I need to do, but I'll be publishing that this week, so look out for that.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
Becca, what about you?
My blog, my food, drink, and travel blog is called The Gourmez, which is TheGourmez. And that's thegourmez.com. And my social media handles are all also at The Gourmez. For Twitter, you can find my Facebook page as /The Gourmez. Instagram is The Gourmez. Pinterest is The Gourmez. Tumblr is The Gourmez. I do that one too. I also, if you're interested in my fiction, you can go to RebeccaGomezFarrell.com. And I do have a bunch of events related to the fiction coming up after the book is released. A bunch of readings in the Bay Area and in North Carolina, and hopefully in Vancouver, Canada too.
Oh, wow.
And one in LA. But events for wine related, like the next appearance, I would say, would be at the Wine Bloggers Conference probably. So hope to see you there.
Gotcha. Leslie, what about you?
So, right before this call, we did a Facebook Live because we were excited about our newest venture.
Mm-hmm.
We are partnering with the Inn Boonesboro, which is located in Washington County, Maryland. It's the Western Maryland area, and I have to show this. So this is who owns the inn.
Very cool.
Nora Roberts. So we are doing wine tours for their guests there. They're going to have like an all-inclusive package of the wine tour, stay at the inn, dinner that night, and then brunch the next day. And so we're excited that they asked us to partner with them. And it is, you can book a tour Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's just not limited to the weekends.
Wow.
So that's what we have going on.
You're totally going to sell out because she has 1 million fans. So
Oh
that's
my goodness.
amazing.
Like they take over this little town. It's right outside of Big Cork, Sarita.
Uh-huh.
It's in that area over there.
Oh, wow.
And she has book signings maybe like 3 or 4 times a year, and they just take over the little town. So we're very excited to partner with them.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great, Leslie. Awesome. Well, I think that's about it. Again, don't forget.
Sarita, do you have you didn't share with us. Do you have anything to share with
I
us?
don't have much going on, honestly. Like I said, I'll be on Twitter tomorrow for a long time because I have this Twitter chat, and Queen Sugar premieres tomorrow, so I'll be live tweeting about that. So yeah, that's about all I got. Mm-hmm. But you can follow me at Vine Me Up on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, pretty much everywhere. You can also follow Swirl Suite, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget to rate us on iTunes and follow us on SoundCloud, wherever you find your podcasts. And that is about it. Thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.